Hi, this is Ben Lee, and you're on the AU Review. Well, it's a bit of a different beast when you make an art project that is, at its core, designed to hopefully awaken consciousness inside us as artists, and then hopefully inside the listener. It really changes the way you judge the effects of the art, in that positive and negative feedback really sort of, in a way, doesn't really have much to do with how alive the music has made somebody feel while they were listening to it. Now, for some people, that might be an experience they don't like, so they might give you negative feedback for that, but it doesn't change the effectiveness of the work. So we're still early days with it, but it was really designed to just sort of open questions and open ideas and concepts and feelings and experiences within people's minds and hearts. So it seems to be doing that at its own pace and in its own, program. Well, the album's inspired by the South American jungle healing medicine, Ayahuasca, which is a psychoactive substance, but it's not a recreational drug by any means. It's experienced strictly ceremonially under the guidance of a shaman or a facilitator with a lot of experience and integrity. And for me, over the last 5 years or so, as I've been exploring it, it's kind of just opened me up to different ways of thinking about not just music, but what is the purpose of having a life, and what does it mean to be part of a community, both on a small level and in a global sense, and what responsibility do we have individually to contribute something of meaning to the world and to leave something behind that has hopefully had a positive effect. So it's really those experiences that led to the creation of the album. Well, I hesitate to use the word show because it's really barely a show. In a sense, it's much more like a form of prayer, in that for all of us musicians, it's a very internal experience, and we really are trying to allow the music to take us somewhere. And I think if you have any desire for the music to transport the audience, the first thing it has to do is transport the musicians. So it's an experiment, but we found it to be quite profound and powerful for us to kind of humble ourselves before the music and to perform it and to allow it to have its effect on our own consciousness. Spaces like that are kind of interesting because on one hand, people can bring a lot of negative associations with ritualistic spaces like that, because a lot of people who grew up in organized religion, they see that is sort of the limit of where they can go in terms of their conception of existential exploration or consciousness expansion, and that's sort of a shame. But on the other hand, have all the intention built up in a space like that, and all the people who have brought in their hopes and their dreams and their fears, a space does take on a lot of that energy, and it is sort of does become a container or a vessel for a form of exploration that can really be a beautiful thing to use as part of the performance. I'm going to come back in July and do more shows, but because this is sort of a unique project, I'm not doing conventional touring in the sense that you say, we're going to play here and play there and play there and put ads in the magazine. Like, I'm really doing it sort of by invitation, where there are promoters or communities that resonate with this work and they invite me to go. I'll go and do a show there in a way that makes sense. So it's hard for me to say where that will take me exactly, but I'm open to the invitations that come in the various forms they come in.
Do you still base yourself in Los Angeles?
Yeah, I'm raising, my daughter and my stepdaughter there, and so we're pretty locked in being there at the moment.
How does Los Angeles life agree with you?
I love it. I mean, my wife grew up in LA, so it's a different atmosphere than people that sort of get off the bus like hoping to make it or whatever. It's like a different, her family's from there and stuff. And I love LA. I love the landscape, and I love the musical community and the spiritual communities and the healthy food. And, there's a lot of interest in consciousness and good quality of life and, a lot of nature. So yeah, I have a great time there. I'm working on, I've finished the first draft of a musical, a theatre production called B is for Beer. It's based on a Tom Robbins book, and it's sort of a psychedelic children's story about alcohol. And that we hope to workshop this year. And I've been producing a few records for the Silver Lake Chorus and Sam Shelton, and I have ideas for my next album that I want to get into. So a fair amount of stuff, staying fairly engaged and creative.
Have you called up Tim Minchin for any advice?
No, I've never bumped into him. I met his manager once, but that show's amazing and yeah, beautiful.